Hey guys, it's Pete from Pete for Anxiety here, the mental health podcast, breaking the stigma that mental health is talked about in. Welcome in today's episode. Before we get started today, we need to cover a few things really quick. Let's talk about the Pete for Anxiety Patreon first off. It's only $1, guys. $1. What does $1 get you? $1 gets you into the exclusive episodes I am recording currently. I'm actually focusing on certain different diagnoses of things to show you guys what it actually looks like as it manifests in a person. So why not for $1, judges? Yeah, they said $1. I just checked with them too. See, they said it was okay. It was $1 anyways. Let's also talk about the Oracle Talk Radio Networks app. In case you can't be here live listening to me, watching this video, supporting the show, you can listen to it on the radio app. Why not? It connects us live to our 365 radio. Just go to your app stores and download the Oracle Talk Radio Network. You'll see the big old Oracle Talk Radio Network app logo right on there. Download it and it'll connect you to me, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, 3 p.m. Central Standard Time, to Pete for Anxiety when I'm live doing my thing right here, informing the world and raising mental health awareness. So where are you going to be? 10 a.m. Of course. Come on. We just talked about this. Pay attention for once. Damn. Do y'all know how to listen? And as always, guys, like, follow, and share the YouTube channel. If you guys like what you're seeing, leave some comments, man. We want to know. I want to know if you like what we're on. You want to be on the show? Let me know. Hit me up at PeteVersusAnxietyPod@gmail.com. And as always, guys, enjoy the show. And by the way, did I mention to like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel as well? Yeah, okay. I just want to make sure because some of y'all are hard of hearing in the back, may have to yell loud or get a megaphone or something. But, anyways, let's get today's show started. Y'all have a great one. Enjoy. Guys, welcome into another exciting episode of Pete versus Anxiety, the mental health podcast, breaking the stigma that mental health is talked about enough. My guest today is Kathryn Holeton, and she's found at KathrynHoleton.com. Kathryn, please say hi to everybody.
Hello.
Kathryn, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
So I'm what I like to call myself a character designer for musicians. I basically help musicians set up a character to play in the game of the music industry or in the music business. In technical terms, it's actually brand design that I do, but it's basically character design. Same thing.
That's awesome. And any big name bands you want to mention that you've done with that we should know, we might know?
I haven't worked with any big name bands, but I have worked with a few rising ones. Like there's one called Pazzo, Pazzo. They're a nostalgic rock band in Chicago, Illinois, I believe.
Hey, my hometown.
That's they've awesome. Got some really cool stuff.
Yeah.
Another one would be the Dead Cassettes. I forget, they're in California somewhere. They're also sort of rock based. Yeah, those are the two big ones.
She's like, it's all right. Listen, the question that everybody's probably asking is, Kathryn, why be on a mental health podcast? What are your thoughts about mental health? Let's start the conversation. How about that?
So my viewpoints on mental health is it needs to be a more talked about topic. It needs to be discussed more in every setting, especially in the creative world, because as creatives, we're constantly working and constantly putting ourselves out there, but sometimes we don't take enough time for ourselves and experience extreme burnout or just anxiety and paranoia over worry. Sometimes our self-esteem takes a hit from trying to promote ourselves on social media and not seeing anything happen over there.
Yeah, social media is a funny thing. Yeah, it's funny you say social media because I'm pretty much on everything. I'm on TikTok, X, Instagram, Facebook. I'm pretty much anywhere I can be. I think Rumble's the only place I haven't touched yet, and that's the next place I'm heading to. But I'm like, it's crazy because when you put something out there, then it's like you have to get ready for the monstrous amount of scrutiny that comes with it, So like you're all excited, you feel like like you designed something real great, and then for somebody to sit there and shred it on you, it's just like, oh, But it comes with the territory, It's just how the nature of the beast is, as they say, Because when you put something out there, musician wise, artist wise, anything. Someone is going to say they don't like something you do, but other people on the other side, there are going to be tons of people that support what you do, obviously, because you're still doing it now. So, clearly someone likes what you're doing. So that's great, though, that you have to battle to that every day, but you're not letting it win.
Yeah, that's the key thing is not letting it win and telling the anxiety and the stress to go take a hike.
I love it. She's like, get out the door. You can leave now. It's okay. So, Catherine, before we even started hitting record, you had mentioned that you were experiencing some burnout. What had led up to that? Is it just like, I mean, I understand you're building websites and things like that, and stuff like that. It's all stressful and it takes long hours to do some of that stuff. Is that what it was causing it? It's just like an overload of work, or are you just not having everything set up so it kind of streamlined feels a little stuff? Because I had experienced that myself in the beginning of this podcast. I tried to do it all myself, and then I discovered, oh, there's digital calendars and wonderful new things I've discovered that help schedule all these things ahead of time.
So for me, it was just constantly, there was always a pile of work to do. I had to do client outreach. I had to message or follow up with previous clients, touch base on all of the people I had reached out to, and then I had to maintain my website, write articles, make social media posts and content to support my articles, and work on getting featured in podcasts and other press events. And it was just a lot. And I forgot to take a break for a couple of months, and I just let and burnout hit, and I took a break all through December. I'm slowly catching back up.
Yeah, that's how it happened to me in the beginning too. I was trying to do it all myself. I'm literally scheduling these people on my own for like the first half of this year up into December. And then somebody was talking to me about, oh, you don't have a digital calendar? I'm like, light bulb, I didn't really even think about a digital calendar. So it makes it so much easier to schedule people. And then I added the calendar, and then this show decided to go goodbye. It just went, we shot all the way to, I think, mid-March, the first day I had it up. And then after that, we stuck at July's where we plateaued at July, which was fine with me because I'm like, to tell people that I'm only in November and I'm only out to July booked with people that want to be on this show, and their jaw hitting the floor. It's like, really? I'm like, yeah, I'm at 2 time slots. That's just one. And they're like, what? I'm like, yeah. And it's crazy because people are like, you're out to July. I'm like, yeah. And then people are getting mad at me because I wouldn't say mad, but they were like, hey, Pete, there's nothing on your schedule until July. I'm like, yeah, I know. Is that real? I'm like, yeah, I'm out that far. So it's funny because I'm trying to do it all myself, and then the social media posts and this and that, and it's just like, oh, it was a lot to do. So like now I'm getting a little better handle on it, working on designing stuff, kind of like the one I did for yourself and a couple of people. Now I've been kind of getting a little more hang of it now that I'm spreading the work out more. Now it pretty much streamlines. All I do every week is I get done with these recordings, I look at my next week, say, okay, these are the next ones I deal with. And then in between there, I'll do some like Patreon recordings because I do have a Patreon. We put some extra episodes and things like that. And stuff like that. Eventually, I'll have a website, but we're getting there. We're getting there. And you know what I also do like is when I was going through your social media, I saw your little desk, and I'm like, this is amazing because I hate it when people say you need to have all this expensive equipment right off the bat to do this. I'm like, guys, you don't need it. You don't need anything other than a laptop and a microphone, or heck, even your phone and a microphone these days to do a podcast now. It's like, I get everybody wants to have all the high tech features and everything else like that. But guys, we all started somewhere, man. It's like, I don't like how people judge people like, oh, well, you need to have all these $1,000 equipment. It's like, dude, I have just a laptop, a microphone, and I'm on a desk here randomly in a side bedroom, and I'm already booked out to September now, officially booking people. And in fact, I actually just booked a guest that is she's a host of three top global ranking podcasts. For me to tell people that, it's like, hey, man, I did it so you could do it. Have you ever had that feeling?
Yes, I have. And on top of not needing all the equipment in order to run a creative business, I don't have internet at home. I have to go to my friend's house or a coffee shop for internet. I'm working on fixing that, but I've built everything on my social media website without internet at home. So
that's awesome. It's awesome. It's probably stressful as hell, but yeah, you did it though. I mean, it's great to hear though that we're both breaking that barrier and proving to people that, hey, we can do this without all that fancy stuff. It'd be nice, probably make it easier, but we like to do the grind.
And if you're looking for like a social media scheduler that's free and pretty easy to use, Adobe Express has got a good one.
There you go. See, Kathryn's plugging Adobe over there. Adobe's great though too for like designing stuff too. Like you get different like Photoshop and all that kind of stuff. I don't have those on this computer at this moment, but that's what we're upgrading to next, guys. I'm gonna get some Photoshop and then really see what kind of designs I can pop up, because right now the graphics they make, I'm doing them all from my phone and everything like that. And, and it's been fun doing it because I have a background in design a little bit. I did the study in college. So I've done all that stuff. I used InDesign, all those different things and all that kind of stuff. It just never took off for me. So, here I am now, just a guy with a podcast. This is my second podcast, actually, because my first one was more like a general conversation one. This is now focuses towards like mental health and all that kind of stuff, and every week I meet somebody new with something new stories and things like that. Do you have any family members that have any diagnosis like, anxiety, depression? There's so many out there that we could just touch on.
One of my family members who just retired, or I don't know what the exact term is. They didn't serve the full term, but they left the military.
Oh,
honorably discharged. There we go.
yeah.
Not for mental health problems. I think it was paperwork problems on why they decided to leave the military, because they were trying to get promoted and their promotions kept getting declined, or they were trying to move to a different rank and they were taking an unreasonable amount of time on filing paperwork. Anyway, she has minor mental health problems, I think.
Yeah. You think?
I hope I'm not putting words in her mouth.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Kathryn, let me ask you a question. When you hear the word mental health, what do you think? What's the first thing that comes to mind now? Anything you can think of?
A person in a dark room with all the lights off, with light streaming in through the window on them while they're sitting in a corner, kind of curled up like this.
Jesus. All right, man. You're not wrong though. I mean, because with mental health, it's so many different things. There's like I said, depression, anxiety. There's BPD, which is borderline personality disorder. There's dissociative. God, I really am doing terrible today of mentioning names of things, but there's the one they used to call multiple personality disorder, things like that. Which you may be describing as depression. It's probably to a T what it is, honestly, for a lot of people, is that they just feel kind of real down, or they just say, it's just like, whatever. Kind of like Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh, basically. So, Kathryn, the main question though is, what are you working on right now? Anything exciting? Anything coming up the line?
So currently I am working on a not major, but still slightly major redesign of my website. Because over my unintentional burnout break, a lot of stuff clicked for marketing purposes and stuff. So I specifically for copywriting. So I've been going through and redoing all of the main pages on my site and doing some slight redesigning. I was hoping to have it done before today, but it happens that way. So I'm hoping to have that done hopefully next week, but possibly in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Because I'm planning on making a really cool booklet that people can download, but it's going to be like many pages. I'm hoping no more than 15, but we'll see.
Right.
So whenever I get that done, I think will be the day I launch the site, and after I proofread it. So however long it takes to make that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And I'm also looking into more ways of marketing myself and my business, my services and business.
Yeah.
And stuff.
Well, that's awesome, though.
The main focus has been on the website. The other stuff has kind of been on the back burner because you have to have the website before everything else.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I get that, especially with brand design and things like that. And, depends. Everybody wants to know who you've been working with and different stuff you do, and want to see some of your portfolio and stuff like that. Yeah, I know exactly how all that goes. Well, that's cool though. It sounds like you got a plan in place though. You're working on getting it ready to go, and things like that. So, any exciting clients coming up, or is it just kind of like just?
No one currently, but I'm hoping to change that.
Well, there you go. Well, hopefully that happens today. Somebody sees this episode, they can reach out to you and be like, "Hey, Kathryn, I need you to make something for me. Let's see what we can do."
Hopefully, indeed, that'd be cool.
Right, definitely right. So, Kathryn, let me ask you a question. Okay, so you're feeling burnt out. What things have you noticed since you've been burnt out? Is it just really tired? Is it just like I know you said you're ready to click explode basically on the button and just, all right, I was ready to delete it all at one point. What were you thinking in that state of the moment? Because for you to say you're gonna just delete everything, it's like, you got this far, everything else like that. Think about it, because you're just like, you're at that breaking point. You feel like you're ready to just kind of just say, all right, well, I'm done with it all. It's just too much, and you felt overloaded.
At that point, I felt like nothing I was doing really mattered. It was a pretty low spot because I felt like everything I had done didn't matter really because I wasn't growing on social media. I was getting more views on my website, and I kept telling myself that. But
Oh, okay. So you were getting more abused on your website, huh?
yeah, for a while I wasn't getting that many views, but I started
Yeah.
getting about 3 or 4 views a day, which was nice.
Yeah.
I guess I just got caught in the trap of feeling like I needed the numbers on my social media. It happens a lot.
Yeah.
Or a lot more than I'd like to admit anyway.
Yeah, and when it comes to social media, man, it's rough though. Getting people to view things like TikTok and all that stuff, man. It's like I get to like 100 views on some videos and that's it. And it's like all you see all these other people, I got 1,000,000 views and this and that. It's like, hey guy, calm down, all right? Don't make the rest of us feel bad over here, okay? And it's just like, I know it's a lot of times it goes based on algorithms too and things like that. And to me it's just stressful too, because like a lot of times you're like, I put this awesome video out and then all of a sudden it just goes, all right. And it's like all these people look at it. It's like, hey, if you look at it, why not? If you don't like something, say what it is you don't like for us. Let us know. Say, hey, is there something that we're doing wrong? And that's the hard part of social media. Is like you got to try and find something that clicks with people and just grabs their attention and runs with it. And early on in this whole phase of this thing was just like, ugh, because I've been through it too. Because I could see all the clicks and everything and how many people download things and stuff like that. And I think when I switched to one host site, I had first month I had like 750 downloads, which is a lot for me because a lot of people are like, oh, 750 ain't a lot. Listen, you make a podcast and let's see you put it out there and see how many clicks you get in the first month, okay? Because you're like sitting there sweating the numbers and then it's like, oh, the numbers start declining. Oh, they start going down, and it's like it's an up and down world basically. Because when you're picking topics, you got to pick something people want to look at, or people want to talk about, or things people want to listen to, and it's tough because a lot of that stuff, it starts causing you to stress out. Like I have anxiety really bad. So like my anxiety will get really bad. So my head will start talking to myself and you're like, oh man, you're not going to make it. But it's a grind, man. Just like you were saying, it's a grind. I felt burnt out a little bit because I was trying to do too much at once instead of making it work for me versus me working for it, and things like that. Now I have the digital calendar. And now I've got I'm so far out now. I could just sit here and just like, okay, well, all these people can schedule themselves going forward now because I have a site I'm a part of now that matches a lot of these guys and it gives all the information to them. I'm like, hey, cool. Now I could just sit back, check my notes, look at what I need to talk, what we're going to talk about, figure out a little bit about people, things like that. That way I can prepare for these episodes and all that great stuff. So my question to you now is, if you could pick anybody you could design for, who would you be? Who would you pick? Ooh, it's a hard question, I know.
Well, the dream client would be Shinedown, but
Shinedown. Listen, Kathryn's looking for you guys. She wants to do something for y'all out there.
Well,
Kathryn, I may have some bands you can work with actually. So far, sitting in that same seat you were in, I've had Brian from Alive and Stone. I had Pretty Suspects, Bryce, come over and talk to me for a little bit. Lucy Lenore from Haunter is what's been in the same seat you've been sitting in right there.
Very cool.
So, like I said, we'll see. I'll have to reach out and see if they need anything done and maybe get you a connection there because I know Bryce and them are working on something new. Actually, Life's Lost will be the next band that's coming to visit me here. They're going to be here the 20th at 6 p.m. and stuff like that too. So I constantly, like all my guests and stuff, things like that, I'll try and network with other people. Like, hey, maybe Kathryn can help you with something like this or that and stuff like that too. I need a website eventually down the road too, Kathryn. So we may have to talk about that. So
I would really appreciate it.
I definitely know. Like I said, I like connecting guests and things like that all together because it's great. Because as I go, I build my list of acquaintances and friends and things like that. Heck, I got invited to Lucy's house for pizza. So Lucy, I'm looking at you. We're coming for that pizza, right?
Everyone likes a piece of pizza. They want a piece of it.
Right. It's funny though, it's crazy. So you don't know anybody else that has any diagnosis, like like anybody you thought about committing suicide, things like that? You don't know any of your friends have never tried any of that kind of stuff?
I had one friend in high school who did try to commit suicide. I don't talk to her now because af- after high school or during high school, they started using me to do their homework, and they just started using me instead of being a friend, even though I
Yeah.
was still a friend for them. But when we were still friends, they did try to commit suicide because of a significant other that influenced them, I believe. It's been a minute since I graduated, but I believe that was the circumstance.
She's like, it's been a minute. What year did you graduate in?
2017 from high school.
Jeez. So 2017. Wow. That's not that far ago. But that's awesome though. And you're so young and you're already on the path you want to take. It's great to hear though. I mean, you're so young, you're already moving towards what you want to do. Most people at your age probably don't even have their life figured out. They're still like, well, I want to do this. I don't know about that. For you to start figuring out, hey, this is what I want to do. When did you realize that you want to do brand design?
I figured out that I wanted to do brand design as I was actually a musician.
Oh,
Um,
that's right. You did mention that before, that you are a musician. What kind of musician were you though?
so I was primarily a lyricist in my time of working with other people. I wasn't very confident with my singing voice at the time. I
Yeah.
think I've practiced enough and made it better now, I think. But
Any notable names of people you've worked with or you've done songs for?
there's Keith Curtis, not the big name country singer, because I think there is one like that, but he's the Keith I worked with is based in Arizona, and he does like country and acoustic stuff.
Awesome. So when you do music, is it mostly country you do, or is it just kind of?
I prefer to make music that's in the genres of acoustic, blues, rock. I'd even go with pop.
Yeah. So what kind of music does Kathryn listen to? Give us a feel like who Kathryn is. Kathryn, what kind of music do you like? Is there any bands you really like? I know you mentioned Shine Down. Are there any other ones that you're really big into that you really like enjoying to? Say like you're having a rough day, and you're like, all right, I'm coming home. I'm gonna turn something on. I'm gonna relax to some music. Who's that band you're picking?
So if I've had a really rough day, I'm turning on some metal, probably some In This Moment and some Blood, and screaming it out in my car.
I didn't see that coming, honestly. I was sitting like, what did she just say? Um, that one threw me out for a minute. I was like, damn, okay, Kathryn, calm down. All right, all right. She's like, I'm just gonna come screaming out at everybody, like, you to get on the
Not
mic.
not not at everyone, just in my car
Oh, that's
with the
okay.
windows
No,
rolled up.
listen, they don't know you're not singing to them. You just tell them you're singing to them. Like, oh, sorry, I was in the moment of the song. My bad. That was, like I said, that would throw me out for a minute. I'm like, damn, she really just say that? I'm like, Kathryn, okay, all right, girl, calm down. All right.
Yeah, I
So
listen to some pretty hard stuff, and if I'm looking to for something that to work to, currently the vibe has been J-pop, J
yeah,
or K-pop. I've
okay,
been hardcore into them.
that's
Slash,
nothing wrong with that.
I'm not sure what genre Lexi Liu classifies as, but she's a Chinese singer, and she's actually really cool. I'm fangirling
Yeah,
over her a little bit because sings in 3 different languages,
that's awesome.
which is Chinese, Spanish, and English. Like, she's got some cool stuff too.
Yeah,
One of I think this other one is they're either J-pop or K-pop. I'm not sure, but they're called REOL or Reol, however it's pronounced.
yeah.
They've got some good stuff. One of the first song I ever heard by her was "Give Me a Break," and it's so good. Like, I highly recommend checking it out
What?
and
I'll
reading
definitely check
the
it out.
captions, because the entire song is in a different language, but it's so good.
You know what's one I like though? That's what is it? I watch a lot of anime, so what's it? The Demon Slayer. I think it's season 2 or 3. The one that Man on a Mission was the band that did it. I was like, I don't even care if I understand the words of this song or not, dude, but it hits so hard because when it starts going, I'm just like, oh yeah. And people look at me like, do you know what they're saying? I have no idea, but I like it. Leave me alone.
I like the intro theme to Soul Eater and the one to Tokyo Ghoul.
Kathryn's after my heart. She said Soul Eater. God, man, yes. You know, and it's great, you know, because music helps you when you're in that really bad mood and stuff like that. So, but you said Shine Down though too. Let's. Where's Shine? Listen, after everything you just said, you said Shine Down. So you're like over here, Shine Down, and then you're like in this blood over here. I'm like, Kathryn, whoa, hold on, okay. We're starting to get a little more bit about who you are now. Okay. Kathryn likes to spin the wheel and said, okay, let's see what I choose today. This morning I've chosen violence. So here we go. You know, just start screaming it out.
My favorite way to describe myself is an antisocial black cat.
There you go. Something
wrong with that. Either snuggled up in the sun or messing around and seeing what happens.
She's like, I like danger. Danger's my new name, everybody. Some days, other days it's like, leave me alone. Get the spray out. Get away. Stay away. Yeah, I get that because there's some days I'm like that too. I don't like. I tell people all the time, and it's just gonna make you probably laugh, but I tell people I don't like people. Like, I just don't generally like certain people. How does that sound? Like, I love doing this podcast. I love talking to new people, but there's sometimes, because I work in retail right now, I just can't stand people, dude. Like, it's so mentally frustrating because a lot of times when you're dealing with people in general, and I'm sure you deal with this with your clients, it's like, oh, hey, I got this great idea. And then it's like, they tell you something else. And then you're the one that has to tell them, yeah, that makes absolutely no sense what you're talking about. You know, and it's like, it's a constant battle back and forth because you're like, okay, I feel like I'm going to be good to go. And then you get that one client that just starts driving you absolutely nuts. It's like, well, Kathryn, I need this. Kathryn, I need that. Kathryn, did you get this? Kathryn, oh my God, I need to change this thing. Even though after you're finished doing the complete changes they wanted you to do, then it's like, oh, well, Kathryn, I need you to turn around and flip side and do this one for me.
Well, luckily, as a brand designer, I can put a limit on the number of revisions and stuff. So...
She's like, yeah, I got this. Don't worry. Listen, hey, guy, you get like 5 changes after that. I guess you're just stuck with what you get, okay? All right? I'm not going to keep changing things. Because that's the one thing about design I didn't like. I was like, I do it. I get excited about it. And then I was like, ugh. And they're like, oh, I need you to change this, and this. I'm like, ugh, you got to be kidding me, really? And it's like, you're like, okay, at first you're like, all right, let's go. I'm going to come back. And eventually you're just like, you know what? All right, F it. I'm all done with this. Let me just toss this thing in the trash and go.
Yeah.
She's just like, yeah. That's probably what it's like for you today, huh?
When I work with clients, yeah. Well, it's either that way or they're completely cool with the first design.
Yeah. And so let me ask you, what do you use to design your websites and things like that?
So for my personal website, I prefer to use Wix because that was the first one. But I like to say if you learn one, you learn them all. However, I will say I don't use coding.
Yeah, I've seen you say that though in one of your messages. I see because I go through people's social media posts and I know that you're on Instagram, so I've been looking through some of your stuff too just to see. And I noticed that's one of the things you said. You know, and that's the people that want something coded. It's great and all, but it's like, you know, I'm just looking for something. If you're looking for something basic, it's like I got you. Other than that, like you're asking too much for me, man. I didn't get deep into the coding and stuff like that because there's just. I couldn't focus enough, man. My ADHD brain just was like, yeah, like I'll sit there and focus and then go, wee, here we go. Let's take the wheel for a spin.
Yeah. When it comes to coding, I don't personally know it, and I'm going to try and fix it so I can at least read some of it because I have to do that. But I do know some coders who, if you do want a website that is, you know, fully coded from the bottom up, I can send you.
Well, Kathryn, you need to bring them into the design corporation with you. You know, get them in there with you.
It's a future endeavor. I'm still working out the logistics.
Listen, that's an awesome answer right there. Let's see that. That's how you handle it. Look at you're on your way. You're like, I got the logistics going, guys. Calm down. I got this covered for you, and things like that. That's great. That's awesome, though. At least you got friends you can lean on in case you're into a problem. Hey, I got an issue. Think you can help me out with this kind of thing? So that's great, though. So, let me think now. I'm trying to think of something else. So something else I'm going to ask you now. I'm going blank, man. It's been a rough day for me. I've just been like, oh. So, okay. So you're designing things for people, you know, like websites. Do you just do websites, or do you do like whole brand identity layouts for people and things like that? Do logo designs?
I do a full brand identity. So I do logo, colors, I would like to get into typography and making custom type and stuff,
Oh,
but
okay.
I don't even know where to start on that digitally.
Listen, if you figure
But
that out, I need some Pete with anxiety type. That would be so cool, honestly. I could be like, hey, listen, I know this person that makes type. And people wouldn't even know. See, when you say typography, it's great because it resonates with me because I'm like, I know exactly what typography is. I love it. Kathryn gets it on this level with me because I'd studied typography for a long time, and people don't realize that the font faces you choose are a big difference. It's either eye catching or it's like, ugh, what is that? I can't. That's terrible. Like people say sans serif and everybody's skin starts crawling. They're like, no, not sans serif. Stop playing with Comic Sans. It's like everybody that does everything like Arial Black only. It's like there are so many other choices. Click that button. There's 1,000 different choices of different typography you could use. Please choose something else. Stop it.
yeah, but also what comes down to their choices though is what is available for use without licensing fees.
There's tons of websites nowadays. If I remember when I was back in college, what was that, like 2005 area around there? They had websites where you can go download the type fonts and stuff like that. You could load them into Photoshop, so you could always go find these crazy little type font things that go in there. And that was something I wanted to do too. I think that would be pretty cool because there's so many different kinds. You can like the horror letters, and just an example, like horror letters, and they kind of have those like letters that bleed off a bit and things like that, and all. And there's tons of sites out there. I know you can get them. And I don't remember what it was now I was using, but there's one where it had like over like 1 million different designs of just different things people have put out there for people to download.
Yeah, those ones do exist. However, you'll definitely, when you download fonts from them, you'll want to check the license because just like every other piece of art that exists out there, everything has a license attached to it
Tell them,
that
Kathryn.
that limits how you can use it. Because there's like 6 main ones. I don't know them all off the top of my head, but one is strictly for commercial use, one's for enterprising use, and one's free source. And the free source ones are like your Times New Roman, your Comic Sans, your Arial Black. Like all of those are the free source ones that don't have. You can use them for whatever you want, whether it be plain
You can see
or.
the look on your face, by the way, when you say that. You're like, you could use those if you want, but you guys could take that elsewhere. Like that's just basic stuff. Now, if you really wanted to pop,
Well, you got to do what the budget dictates. I mean, for my personal site, I use Arial Black as my headers and Times New Roman as my
yeah,
body font. But having said that, Times New Roman has a special place in my heart because that was my preferred choice of font all through
yeah.
high school and college. So.
And then she met typography and found there's so many others out there. I'm just saying, the look on your face when you said that, you're just like, you started cringing. Well, you could use that if you want, I'm going to. I have a feeling like you look at some design stuff and you're just like, oh, who the hell designed this thing? What is this? Oh,
Guilty as charged, yeah. Yeah,
you know,
I see some that are like, that don't look great. The big thing, not necessarily design wise, I guess organizational wise, that is a pet peeve of mine is when you click on someone's link tree and they have their links not organized. They're just thrown in there. It's like, organize it.
That's mine. That's mine right there. Little chaos at hand. Okay, mine's all over the place, man. But it was still like I said, that early stages. I am working my way back through a lot of things, and I'm trying to work on some of my brand designing and stuff like that. Because I'm like, actually, the funny story that the picture in the background, the back image is me. And my wife actually did it when we were dating. She actually made that picture for me. I don't remember what I was doing in that photo. So I was like, oh, I found this photo. I was like, hey, I could use this for something. And this is how I came up with the podcast idea. And then the 2 different font faces as you go through it was just because I know it drives people crazy. Get those grammar knots. It's like, it's all not one face. I know. It's all point of picked it just because it drives you insane. And then if you notice my Instagram, if you look at it, it says AAXIETY because I know it drives people nuts. Like I'm just the person that just likes to get upset people. Apparently, I'm like, I just thought it was great. I just want to be original. So I'm like, bro, let's do this. So I am going to look at a brand designing down the road. So we may have to have a little discussion about that, honestly, and see what we think and what we come up with. And there's some other ventures I'm going down. I haven't really told many people about this. You were the first one to know, but I've been talking to some about doing some other podcast ideas as well. Just a couple of different ones. So we may have to have a long discussion about some things. Maybe we'll see what you come up with for us. because we're going to need a couple logos and things like that, because they're all different shows and things like that and all that fun stuff. So, hey, look, listen, this was great that we met up then here now, because now we can talk. We can talk some shop here, see what we can come up and get your name out there. Like, oh, and then, make sure, in the corner of it, you put Kathryn. It's Holston, right? I'm sure I messed it up in the beginning. Holston.com. That way they know where to find who did this,
It's Kathryn Holeton, like weighing a whole ton minus the W.
Kathryn, I told you, Tate, I cannot read names to save my life. So I told you. So I appreciate you just kind of bearing with me here.
It's all good. The sporadic dyslexia hits us all.
Right? It's like, man, my brain woke up today. It was like, yeah, guy, we're not working today for you. Sorry. So, but yeah, definitely, like I said, though, we'll have to talk some shop here, because I've got about 5 or 6 maybe other ideas of things we're working on all at once. I know it sounds like a lot to a lot of people, but once you get a bunch of the content recorded and things like that, it's just going to kind of distribute itself very slowly out there. We're talking different things like that. So we'll have to talk shop about that, typography, the big words that people don't understand. It's okay, guys. We'll keep you in the loop later on. So you don't have anything big coming down the line. You don't have anything exciting you're doing. You're just working on the brand design, all that kind of resets. Say somebody wants to come talk to Kathryn. Kathryn, what is it? How would a normal interview with a new client go? Just give them a kind of feel for what they're going to be experiencing. You sit down and talk about, hey, listen, what do you want versus what you feel like they should do? Because, obviously this is your area of expertise and they're coming to you for stuff to get done. Like, I mean, people have ideas, but sometimes, guys, your ideas just don't make sense.
So I use their when I start a brand design project, and when I'm first meeting with a client, I talk to them and get their ideas and see their goals and help them plan out their goals and find some ways to get there. I'm not an expert in goal planning my own self, but I'm decent enough to advise basic steps.
Well, you're getting there. You said you're still in the beginning phases of this thing. You at least you're ambitious. You know what you want to do, and you're not afraid to go for it.
From there, I write down their design ideas, and I'll more than likely, I will use it as inspiration for their own brand identity.
Kathryn, you can be honest. You can say that some of those ideas are terrible. It's okay. It's just you're amongst friends here. Don't worry.
I mean, I haven't seen it.
The way you responded, Kathryn, I'm sorry. That was hilarious. You're like, well,
I haven't seen anything obnoxious yet.
Oh, okay.
Knock on wood. But
oh my God. I could just see now the email from Kathryn. Peter, you got to see this. You got to see what it just did. You got to see this idea. And just it's something we laugh about since, I have a little idea how brand designing works somewhat, not a lot. You're probably more advanced than I am, but the way you responded to that was just like, whoa, nothing yet.
Well, the key thing with brand design is the designs are based on research, and the research is on how you stand out in your market, or in this case for musicians, in your genre, what your alternatives are doing, and how you can stand out from them, and what you can safely steal from them. Like maybe they have a really cool marketing strategy going on and you can maybe implement that into your own marketing strategy, or maybe they have very bold designs and you can implement that same feel into yours but with your taste, because I say take safely.
Okay, well, when you said the word steal, not to cut you off here, though, I had to. All right. Brian from Alive and Stone had said it best. He said that if you're not copying someone else's music, like they're something they're doing, then you're not doing music right. Because if you think about a lot of people's sound, like they all say, like, oh, you sound like this or you sound like that. And you sound similar to other people because you kind of borrow some of their stuff from there. So you're not wrong when you're saying that, because that's basically essentially what's happening.
That is actually the backbone behind marketing yourself. And that's how all art is created, really. All art is basically stolen artwork from something.
Exactly.
Or someone else.
I'd say borrow, but we can say steal. I mean, if you really want to keep saying steal, you can be like saying, well, I'm like the Pink Panther, I'm just taking it. It's okay.
Or use. Insert relevant term here.
Yeah. Kathryn's like, I can't with you, man. You're too much right now. Yeah, but that's I mean, like I said, what did they say? Imitation is the best form of flattery. So, like you taking different elements from different designs that you see And are you constantly like taking notes and things like that too? Like you're seeing something, you're like, oh yeah, I like the way they did that, but I do it a little differently. Start breaking it down to try and make it the Kathryn way. That way, it gives your own branding spin to it. Like, hey, this is what I did. Took a little elements from here, but I did it my own way this way. So kind of like that, right? Am I on the right track a little bit?
Yeah, I'm always taking notes and noting different designs. Not physically taking notes. I see a design I like in my like on an advertisement or something, and I think
Mm-hmm.
about how I could do it for my own self. I will confess, I use references or other people's websites to help design my website, like just to get an idea of the layout. I've used 5 different websites as a base for designing mine.
Yeah. That's good though. I mean, all you're doing is borrowing the elements from other people's original ideas and turning it into your own, basically, and things like that. And then colors played a factor a lot of times. You want to have like super dark colors because you're not trying to make everybody feel like they're about to walk into a funeral procession. And you don't want it all to be red because the red's technically the first color you see when you're looking at something. So that's why stop signs are red, so you can actually see them. But some people don't have that same theory, so it's okay. It's all right. We'll get them all there eventually. So, like I said, Shinedown, Kathryn's waiting for you to call her. She wants to know what she can do for you, okay? Kathryn, here's a great idea, though. If you go on and just look at people's stuff and start doing, like, different designs for them and send them to them, a lot of them will respond. Like TikTok, I know you say you're on TikTok a lot. If you go through that, I see a lot of those guys on there, a lot of bands and stuff. I know Brian from Alive and Stone, he actually answers his own messages. Tanis from Lives Lost, I know he's the guy that responds to a lot of his social media answers and things like that. Lucy Lenore may need some stuff done, too. Lucy... Kathryn says she's got some designs she might be able to do for you. And Lucy's actually a tattoo artist too. So
Ooh.
So you never know. You might want to link up with her. Maybe she wants to do something for you because she's really cool too. And things like that, And Lucy said it, she's like, she kept telling me during our interview, it's like, I'm just an average person, man. Yeah, I'm a rock star and things like that, but like I'm just a normal person. So like reach out to them, like, just go on there, tag them and say something. Like you never know. They'll reach out. Like Lucy, I'm sure will respond for sure. I can tell you that much. If you go on TikTok, Tanis for sure answers people and like that. If you got a really cool design or redesign something for them or, kind of do some like artwork of your own, get your name out there. These guys will gladly put it out there for you. Say, well, Kathryn made this for me and just they'll pop. And you can tell them that Pete from Anxiety sent you, too, because Lucy knows me by name now. She'd be in here exchange Instagram posts and messages a lot of times and stuff like that, which is weird to say to people. It's like, this woman has like a song with 635,000 downloads. Yes, you heard that right. 635,000 downloads, and she's taking the time to respond to your messages and talk to you and things like that, And other avenues you can go to too is like book cover designing and things like that too. I have a bunch of different authors I work with that come on here. Melissa Kim Corder, who's a 2-time international bestseller on Amazon. She's been on the show too, and I just had somebody recently, actually. What was it? Leslie Lindsay Davis has been on. She had a new book coming out and stuff like that. And my guest, actually, right before you at 10 o'clock, she had a new book coming too. So you know what I'm saying? There's other avenues you can go to get Kathryn's name out there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's all been it's all been in the idea book, and I'm planning on doing that. It's just I have to sit down and actually figure out how X, Y, and Z will work with X, Y, and Z.
And listen, that's the design process in itself. You're right. It's you got to figure out what works with what. But I mean, I say go for it. If you get anything good, let me know. Or you feel like you're confident with something and you want me to help you get it pushed out to some of these other guys you run into. There's like I said, I'll have to reach out to the guys who are pretty suspects, see if they need any rebranding of any sort, because they're out there in Eugene, Oregon. Bryce and the boys are out there getting ready to do some new stuff, new singles, new music's coming out from them and stuff like that. So you never know. And what else is there? There's Spirits. I'm getting ready to talk to Spirits. They're another band too that are might need some brand design. Guys, call my girl Kathryn here. She needs y'all. Come on now. Tell him, Kathryn. Tell him. Call me. Shinedown. Damn it. So, Kathryn, let me ask you. So now that you're on TikTok, are you going to start a big campaign on there when you get the new website going? Are we going to see some new designs coming out? Like boom, boom, boom. This is me. Come see me. Say hi to me, kind of thing. Because TikTok's a great place for branding, Kathryn. Like you can go live and talk to people, show them some of your stuff you've done. And that's how I get a big following in social media. Is like a lot of people that are on there do like different stuff, like poetry, or people like are in the TikTok shop, things like that, or they're just on there selling themselves as a brand just to get their message out there. Because, any social media platform is great to be on. It's just trying to catch the bug on which one it is that gets you there first and then go from there.
I'm planning on doing some stuff on TikTok. I have to plan out all the content for that though, and like I've said, the
Good
website
answer.
the
Good answer.
website has been the primary goal for the moment,
Yeah.
and then after that, I have to actually sit down and plan out what kind of content, record any if I'm going to record any.
Yeah.
I'm kind of a introvert, so I don't like being on camera very much.
Yeah.
The camera on my phone irks the crap out of me because it's not that great. Like, I'm particular.
Well, there is what is it? The TikTok live studio. You can do it from your computer as well. Gives you a little more freedom to what you're doing, and you can share like your screens and stuff. So you can do like, hey guys, this is Kathryn. Da da da. Explain yourself. Like, okay, here's my website design. Here's some of the other ones I've done, and you can share the screen. There's another option right on the bottom. You can share your screen on your computer so they can see what you're working on there. So you don't have to stay on the screen the whole time. You could flip it up and then it'll show you on the screen, but you won't know that you're on the camera anymore because you're busy going into your own designs and showing people the website. Hey, here's the new website. Here's where you get a hold of me. Here's my blog and this, all that stuff on there. You can do it, and it's great because a lot of the guys that do like do the games and stream the video games and stuff like that too, and all that kind of stuff. They can put it right there on the bottom for you, and that's another thing too. Go through and look at some of these guys that are streaming on there. Any guys that don't have any branding, Kathryn, that's your calling. Telling you, you can get somebody there. I'm telling you, it's so easy nowadays, man. You got it so easy nowadays versus back when I was younger. And I freshly graduated high school. We didn't have access like that. We had AOL. That was it. And like that's Stone Age technology now, man. Like we had only one way to talk to people. Oh, I'm sorry, you had two. You had MSN and you had AOL. I sound like an old guy now. I'm almost 40 now, guys. So okay, y'all can save me on that one, all right? But what I'm saying? Now you have so many different things. You have X, you have Facebook, you have Instagram, you have TikTok, you have Snapchat. You have all these different media sites that you can just sit there and relish on. And I advise you just try them all, man. Go for it. See what happens because you never know. You may take off quick. X is really great too because you can just kind of keep posting out there. Or Instagram has this great little message board thing. I don't know if you've ever been on. It's called Threads.
I'm a huge user of Threads. I don't really use X.
Listen, guys, if you're not on Threads, you're all missing out 100%. Kathryn and I are there. So you need to come visit us there, okay? We don't appreciate your lack of support from there, okay? Forget you.
Join the dark side.
No, it's awesome. I like Threads though. I like Threads because it's just straight to the point. It's nitty gritty. It's straight to the point. You can make all these cool little posts, kind of like X does, but it's just like and it's great because there's so many people on there, and then it leads them to your Instagram profile for your all your business and everything else like that. So you can go on there and be Kathryn, and then you're like, oh hey, I do a design company. If you need any designs, and just throw up some of the stuff you've done and things like that. Me, I'm just content dropping sometimes. Like I'm just like, all right, let me get y'all something to look at. But I'm always constantly finding different people, like different things that they want to talk about. Like, and everybody's like, I find fellow podcasters a lot too. Kathryn might be down the road. Kathryn, you never know. You might want to do a podcast. You never know. Hit me up. You never know. We can come up with some. We can talk about anime, things like that if you'd like. If you're interested, like I said, I do have an idea for an anime podcast we're talking about currently. So I may have to let you know what we're thinking there.
I mean, I'm down. I love anime. I don't. Because of the internet situation, I don't get to read it or read it. I don't get to watch it a whole lot, but I do read the manga. And let me tell you, I love the Black Clover anime, but it's been on hiatus for a while. So I was reading the manga, and it was great because it was coming out monthly when I started reading it, and they got switched to quarterly, so I only get to read a new chapter every quarter, and it's in the climax.
Like, no. I'm like, yeah, like a cat. That's like cat was like, no. It's funny you say mangas because me and a friend of mine were talking about it. He's a big Dragon Ball Z guy. And it's like, listen, have you read the manga for the Super one? He's like, no. It's like, bro, you're missing so much. He goes, well, I know there's so much different stuff in there. So people are saying, I'm like, there's 100% different stuff. Plus you get to, you're reading books and things like that. And it's like, it's a comic book essentially because it's not like the traditional American comic book. It's an actual book, but it's a comic book, And I was telling them about it. I was like, yeah, man, a lot of the stuff they leave out in that. And Black Clover, I'm not sure if they're going to finish that one out because I got to the end of that one. That was all everything you can see up to that point. I was like, and then I hate it when it just stops and it's like, well, it doesn't come back. Like Dead Man Wonderland was one that was like that too. It's like you got to the end of that thing and you're like, but why can't I have more than 12 episodes? I mean, this is just like, it's crazy. This one kid survives a classroom explosion. He's the only kid left. But why can't I have more? And it's just like, but with anime, there's so many different kinds. of different ones you can watch. And I was talking to somebody about this other day, buddy. Street, by the way, you know who you are. Yeah, I'm coming for you for those comments. But anyways, a friend of mine's named Street City Inc. on TikTok. He's making jokes about anime, and he's like, it all looks the same to me. I'm like, no, it doesn't, dude. It's a different art styling, but he's like, oh, it looks the same. I'm like, no, dude, it's like movies. I describe to people it's like movies, man. There's different genres for different things and everything like that, and and all that great stuff, and and I think people don't read enough books either, and it's like that's my goal this year to read some more books and be on more podcasts. So. Kathryn, you need to start once I come on your podcast now. See, look how it goes. I had you on here. Now you have me on there.
Maybe at some point when I do get a podcast.
She's like, maybe down the road. I don't know. That may not be for me. I'll just design the logos and stuff. But yeah, definitely. Anyway, so as we get ready to wrap up today, Kathryn, I know your website is the main source right now. Do you have any other social media sites you want to plug? I know you're on Instagram. Or you're on TikTok too, right?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Threads, and TikTok.
Mm-hmm. And what's your hand? Do you remember what your handles on TikTok for them all, so we can plug it for them?
So my handles for TikTok and Instagram are brand designer Kathryn Holeton. For Facebook, I'm just Kathryn Holeton. For LinkedIn, I'm also just Kathryn Holeton. And Threads is the same as my TikTok and Instagram.
Yeah. That's good, though. I'd like to make Mike's mind up and drive people insane, so it's okay. All right, guys, we're going to wrap up this episode of Pete vs. Anxiety. Kathryn, thank you so much for coming. It was great having you here. It's great learning more about yourself. Keep me posted on the new website. And like I said, I'll definitely be reaching out about my own when you got time. And we could discuss more about the other stuff, all the other branding stuff like that. Maybe we can get into something and you can help me design some new branding logos for the new stuff that we're talking about that are in the works now. I'll send you the ideas and we'll do all that anyways off camera. That's our own private conversation. And guys, like as always, like to tell you guys, you know where to find me. I'm on Pete vs. Anxiety, pretty much everywhere like Visa, everywhere you want me to be. I'm on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, X. I'm pretty much anywhere, guys. Like, come visit me. Let me know what you like the show. Say hi to Kathryn. Tell you saw her on Pete vs. Anxiety. It's always great when people mention me. Things like that. And guys, as I like to say, as always, I close out the show. It costs nothing, absolutely nothing to be kind to somebody. One kind act you can do can save somebody's life, or hell, you can even make their day. Guys, this is Pete vs. Anxiety signing out. So I'll see you guys next Monday. Later.